Hey everyone, so here we are for Joy Workout number 71. And Flower decided to sit on my notebook. And I was like, well, if you're going to do that and be that disruptive, well, you can photobomb this workout, girl. She is the sweetest kitty I have ever met in my whole life. And she's a big part of the Joy Workout. So today, now you want to go down. Now you want to go down. Okay. Oh, so today's Joy Workout is Joymittment. If you just came in, you missed Little Kitty. You're going to have to like rewatch this video. Photobombed the beginning of this video. So, okay, so the Joycabulary word for today is the same one as yesterday, but we're going to take it a little deeper because I had a great conversation last night with one of our members, Kimberly. So the word is Joymittment. Joymittment. Can you say it? Joymittment. And what we want to, yesterday we talked about the importance of having joyful commitments in your life. Having commitments that are related to joy. Well, yesterday when Kimberly and I were talking about the joy-based living process. She's just so happy with her ability to relax more and be more authentic, and she loves how the members at Joy-Based Living relate with one another. And she was sharing the benefits that she's getting, and then she said, and how much there's just more flow in her ability to communicate and things like that. And then she said it's hard, but it's hard. Like she was like, we were recording the conversation, and I guess she was wanting me to know, or to let a future listener know, like, don't think this is just immediate gratification. This is hard. And she said it enough times that I said to her, you keep saying it's hard. What is the it? Because in my mind, I'm assuming it's the homework. It's like, what is it that you are describing? It's hard. And she said, the hardest part is actually pausing. And for those of you who've been watching these videos for a while, you might remember that in the Joy-Based Living Village above my head, there's a sign, and it says time to pause. And PAWS is how I spelled it on that one. Pausing. And she said, pausing is just, I have to stop myself in the middle of whatever I'm feeling and change gears. I'm not going to keep trying to describe her description of what's hard about pausing. What I want to do is to help you, because where she and I went was, oh my God, if there was like one thing to have as a lifetime practice to have more empowerment, it is pausing. It's the gateway to everything else. If you don't pause, you don't get any of the goodies. There is no instant gratification inside of authentic joy. And so I wanted to offer up something that's that could be kind of fun for you to think about. I want you to think about some things that maybe in the past you didn't like, and then you learned to like. So it could be fun or more serious. So I'll give you some fun ones for me, and we're going to relate this back to Joymittment. So if there was one Joymittment practice in all of Joy-Based Living, it would be pausing. That would be the Joymittment. I used to not like wine at all because I used to feel bad after I drank it. That night, the next morning, even if it was a little bit. And then visited California and visited some of the fancy wineries out there and learned how to drink. I learned that drinking the fanciest glass of wine, I felt really good drinking it, during, after, the next morning, I'm like, oh, this is a matter of quality. I was drinking cheap wine before. So I changed my mind about liking wine. I was like, oh, I like really well-made wine. I see, said the saw. Another example was I didn't used to like sushi. I couldn't, I was like, no. And then some people convinced me like, oh, come on, just give it one more try. And I started to like it. I don't remember if I had a higher end sushi at the moment or if they were just teaching me how to eat it properly. I don't know what happened, but it shifted. And then I'm like, oh, I love sushi. I mean, I went to loving it. I love fine wine now. I love sushi now. Cigars, I used to hate any kind of smoke. I still don't like cigarette smoke. But I was in Amsterdam one time and I figured, well, it's legal here to smoke, you know, hashish or pot or whatever at the time. And so I'm going to give it a try. So we went to a hashish bar. I don't know what they call it. They have these bars where they sell it. And he gave me some really like expensive stuff. And I was supposed to put it like, the only way to like take it in was through like put it in a cigar. I don't even know how to smoke a cigar. So after that, I don't think I got high at all, actually. I don't even think I did it properly, but I found that I liked cigar smoking. So now every couple weeks or, you know, once a month or so, I smoke a cigar. Okay, those are like, oh, you know, those are the little bad things, right? What about the good things? I used to hate meditating. I tried meditating when I was in my early 20s, and I did it enough that I found myself fighting with myself, that I was like, oh my God, but be quiet, make your mind quiet. And it was like, it became a fight. And I knew that it wasn't supposed to be a fight. I knew it wasn't supposed to be. I knew I was going down the wrong path, but I didn't know how to change it, and nobody around me seemed to be able to help me. So I quit meditating. I wanted nothing to do with meditation again because I didn't want to fight with myself like that. And then I met someone who introduced me to transcendental meditation. And when I learned transcendental meditation, I was like, oh, okay. I never fought with myself again after that. I meditated consistently after that. I have not stayed with transcendental meditation. That was about 20 years ago. That was in the year 2000 that I was initiated in that. But then after that, I could do other meditations with no problem. Another example is, think about like people who don't like the idea of trusting others. They're like, oh, I'm do it all myself. Or people who don't trust themselves. So how does this relate to joymittment? I'm gonna give you a couple more examples first. Some people don't like change. Our brains don't like change. Our brains, physiologically, we like things to stay the same. So what we're doing is, in joy-based living, is we're pushing that envelope. So when we're given like, you know, rules to live by society, there's part of our brain that really likes that. That's like, yes, I'm safe doing this and following the rules and following along. But what gets left out in that process is the soul, is the heart and soul. There are some people who seriously hate the warmth in other people. When I read the book, The Sociopath Next Door, I learned that people who are sociopaths, they recognize that there are other people have warmth in their heart and they don't, and they feel jealous of the warmth in other people's hearts, which they can sense and they can see in their own way, they can perceive, and they hate that it's like in that Disney movie with Snow White, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And they never get the answer that they are, because they're so disconnected from their heart. And the reason that they are so mean to other people is out of pure jealousy. It's out of coldness and jealousy. And they don't realize that it's there. It's available for them. Joymittment, if you think about all these different examples, joymittment is taking time to pause and to say, I'm going to stop my automatic reactions. and I'm going to tune in to what I value most, which is joy or feeling good or feeling better than before or vitality, heading in that direction. If you think about the Sanctuary ebook and you think about the 12 Practices ebook, all of the practices are about taking time to pause. So in that conversation that I was having with Kimberly, and she said, what's so hard is pausing. Is because pausing is shifting gears from the automatic. It's much easier to just, somebody asks you to do something, you just say yes, versus the awkward uncomfortability of, I'm going to pause and take this in. And Brene Brown has a thing where she bought herself some spinning rings, and she says, I have to spin it 8 times when somebody asks me if I can do something. I have to spin it 8 times before I answer them. That is an awkward pause. And the way that we're trained in our culture is to simply do what you're told, do what you're told, do what you're told. And even the fairy tales tell us, do what you're told. The fairy tales that I've been writing are listen to your heart and soul, listen to joy, listen to happiness. A word came up yesterday in some podcasts that I was listening to with, am I going to remember his name? Maybe, maybe not. Russell Brand. And he was interviewing a guy named Merlin who wrote a book on fungi. Don't ask me for Merlin's last name. Anyway, it's a pretty popular book. If you look up Russell Brand and Merlin, it was a recent interview. And Russell Brand kept saying the word interconnectedness. And I'm like, wow, every time he says that word, there's like a lot of juice and energy behind it. Like he's saying it with a lot of feeling, even though he's not getting louder or anything like that, but he's saying it there. You can feel passion in him about that word. And what he was so excited about talking with Merlin was the fungi are all interconnected with each other and with the trees, and they have and the trees are interconnected with the fungi and with each other. And so what we're standing for in joy-based living is honoring the interconnectedness of all of life and the interconnectedness within ourselves, between our soul, our heart, and our mind, our brain, and our bodies, and all that interconnectedness, the interconnectedness with each other, and the interconnectedness with all of life itself, whatever it is that moves the planets in their orbit, is also inside of us. And honoring that interconnectedness takes away any kind of external force or power of, well, I need to listen to them and they're going to guide my life. It's more of, I'm going to listen within. And what Kimberly was saying about being within our wholehearted networking meetings is, she said, I just feel so good there. And it's her tone of voice was like, it's replenishing. It's replenishing. And I want you to remember back to when you first came on, if you've been part of our group there, kind of like the shyness of maybe, well, I don't know, I don't want to share too much, I don't like, oh, and it's being recorded, oh, and we're at Facebook, and like all these like things, and then like, oh my gosh, oh, when I post something and I'm sharing some of my heart and soul, it helps other people who are there. It's not all about me. It's about changing into recognizing the interconnectedness between all of us, which kind of like a spider's web is like, it's kind of invisible but shiny. And I always look at the Joy-Based Living logo to point that out to me, is that interconnectedness. In the logo, it's like made out of orange, but like it's invisible. It's between us. Why do we keep coming back here together around this like little campfire of a conversation? Is because it's feeding something in us. What is it feeding? It's feeding our souls. So the joymittment is a joymittment to pausing, so you can listen a little bit deeper than what the rest of the noise is showering us with. I'm going to end here. I love you. Thank you for being here with me and with all of us and growing together on this beautiful joy-based journey. I love you.